My grandma, when she was 86 years old, went to the doctors because of some stomach pains that she had. And I remember the doctor giving her the diagnosis that she actually had lymphoma cancer at the age of 86. And the doctor only gave my grandma a 10% survival chance. And as you can imagine, this was super rough on the family. My grandma's a very important person in our family. We love her dearly. And we didn't know if we should give her treatment or not, go through the radiation therapy, go through chemotherapy. And I remember we asked her at the time, and Grandma, being the strong person she is, she goes, "I'm 86 young, give me the radiation therapy, give me the chemotherapy, I'll be fine." She's kind of cool like that, my grandma. Love her to death. Probably shouldn't say I love her to death, should I? Love her to bits. And you know what the crazy thing is? My grandma went through the chemotherapy and the radiation therapy at age 86, and she survived. My grandma lived an amazing life. She lived to 101. It was amazing. She even passed away in a way that was very peaceful. And this is the part I really want to focus on when looking at my grandma's recovery. You see, my grandma, when she was in hospital, as a family, this is not just me, but as a family, we attributed the reason she survived the chemotherapy and radiation therapy. It wasn't just because of the medicine. It was because of the doctors and nurses who took care of her. It was because of the way they were communicating with her, even though she didn't understand English. And this is kind of crazy, right? Because a lot of the times when we think about communication, we think that words are the only modality for communication. But there are so many other modalities when you're communicating with someone. Even though my grandma didn't understand a word they were saying, what my grandma could understand was the embrace, the way that they would hold her hand, the way that they would touch her shoulder. More than this, my grandma was able to understand the tonality, meaning the emotion behind their words. She could hear them caring. And more than that, my grandma could see their facial expressions, the smile they had, the positivity, the vibrancy that they brought every time they went to visit her. These may seem like small things to you, someone who understands English, but to my grandma, who didn't speak a word of English, this meant everything to her. As a family, anytime anyone in the family gets sick, in this case it was my grandma, when she was in hospital, we were there nearly every single day. As I was sitting there by my grandma's bedside, what's incredible is that I would see these doctors and nurses be amazing to my grandma, and then they'll walk over to the bed next to us and be just as amazing. And I'll never forget that as the grandson of someone who was suffering in hospital. And all of that happened, and my grandma didn't even understand a word they were saying.